Oh yes, legends, how is everybody doing? Make sure to absolutely destroy that like button on your way in. We'll be going through the price of Bitcoin to see what is going on, guys. We are moving to the downside. Are we ready for a bounce? Make sure to absolutely destroy that like button, guys. Share some love, because I'm going to share some love with you today. How is everybody doing? Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community. Let's turn that music down. What's going on? My goodness, it's Friday, but hey, come on. It's still early. Let's not get too excited yet. Who's going out tonight? Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community, of course, as always, as we begin the stream. And we need to analyze the price of Bitcoin, right? We continued to move to the downside. This, for me, was an interesting, zone. Not to do anything, right? On yesterday's stream, I was very vocal about, this zone over here not being a level of interest till the price stops, gets a little bit of a range formation, right? And we can analyze the situation, which we can right now on this live stream. And No instant long positions from the low. You know, a sniper long here was acceptable, but you would have got stopped out at break even. If we were to lose the lows, very much aware of the bearish case scenario, which was actually rolling down to the downside, right? Rolling down, going to lower levels. And that was purely based on the bearish case scenario that we were talking about yesterday, right? Which is obviously the original idea that we had a few days ago, right? Even from the A wave that we talked about, not even forming this wave, and then overall get the momentum to the downside to claim the lows, right? Be it 105, 104, 103 maybe. But this is basically what is happening this is the scenario that is playing out, right? So we talk about many scenarios, and we, actually analyze the different projections that the price could do. And this one, which was very much called, early on predicting the next couple of waves that could be formed. And this is how the price has developed throughout the last few days. This was from Monday. So 4 days ago, we were talking about the possibility of the price, forming this kind of price action. And of course, today, with the new information that we have, we do have some different plans, right? We do have some different plans, some different levels for some setups. And whoever got into a short here, absolutely epic. Well, whoever got into short here also was very, very good, right? Understanding that if this were to be the bearish case scenario that has to play out, well, eventually, we do not know if this is going to be a wave C in an ABC. We do not know if it's going to be a 1, 2, 3. We just really don't know how this momentum to the downside is going to develop. Now, as we see this development, well, we have a few ideas. We have some, different projections, which obviously all of these different projections can give us a trading setup, a high probability trading setup, right? Not only just a random setup, we look for high probability trading zones. So it does look like, since we, did one of the projections on Monday, which also a double top here was an option to get into day trade shorts. Okay, we're looking for the price to get that movement down, movement to the upside, and overall look for the price to roll back down, right? This was on last Monday that we were talking about this possible scenario. Of course, this C wave over here did not get that high, but we did kind of move, took out the highs of the A wave, and now we kind of rolling down, right? I did see some people saying there's a lot of manipulation. This is why we're dumping. Well, we were very much aware many days ago that, this could happen, right? Based on the technical analysis on the price action that we had. So we were very much aware that this could happen regardless of manipulation, right? It's all on the charts, the different projections that could happen. So this is the situation right now. However, we didn't break down too aggressively, right? The breakdown from the lows of the range was this, okay? I was very much aware of the price going to lower levels, right? Maybe some bulls out there like, yeah, I'm going to add to the position. This is a corrective structure. There is a possibility that this is still part of a large correction. And this is what we are going to discuss in today's stream, because if the price were to be extremely bearish, right, where this is going to be forming a third wave down, 4, 5, right, you start forming an impulse to the downside. Well, we haven't dropped down in the last 24 hours too aggressively, right? We got a little dip of, $2,000 beneath the lows right over here of the range. Not much of an aggressive move to the downside. So we have this scenario over here, which we're just building up a downtrend. There's another scenario, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just claim the lows one more time and potentially then get the recovery, one more liquidity grab from the lows, and then get the bounce. This is an actual setup, okay, which we are going to be discussing through the stream. Double bottom swing failure pattern, right? And we do have quite a lot of confluence from this zone. We also got an interesting harmonic pattern. Basically, it is a Gartly pattern. We can discuss that also on the stream. So this bearish case scenario, it would have been nice for the price to drop down aggressively, right, as we lose the lows. But we did not move down aggressively, which is giving me, the possibility of looking at this as a possible correction, right, that is forming. We are going to be discussing this in the stream. We got a few scenarios, of course, that I want to discuss how the price is developing according to Elliott wave theory. We'll be talking about the most important levels of Fibonacci and the confluence zones based on point of control, okay, and daily, weekly, previous week levels, previous month levels, and so we can add them on the chart to see where is the strongest zone of support and strongest levels of resistance. We always start with a blank chart here, guys, so we can follow up with what we're talking about, right, to see if it makes sense, right? We start from zero and we start building up the different projections, right? This is what we like to do. We go from zero and we start building up for the people that are learning, the people that want to see, how the price could move in the next coming days, coming hours, right? And what we are looking for. This is what we like to do. This original bearish case scenario from last Monday is the one that is playing out here, okay? The C wave was a little bit shallow, I have to say. It wasn't exactly as the drawing, but it was, these are projections that we talk about, right? So this is the one that's kind of playing out. Now, the overall question is this an ABC or is this a 1, 2, 3? We're still developing the third wave. Is it an ABC? We're still developing the C wave, right? Could it be another structure that I do have here, which is this one right over here, which is part of that ABC movement, or a larger corrective structure for the next coming days? Okay, we'll be going in detail throughout these Elliott wave complex scenarios. I want to talk about a harmonic. I want to talk about the most important zone of support that we do have. The value area low of this trading zone is wanting to hold as support. Matter of fact, this value area high is also in confluence with the support zone of this descending channel since we created all-time high. So we can see that two lower highs to form the channel, and we do have the base right now, and we are trying to hold that value area high. So could we have another attempt to break down? This is the moment that it's consolidating. We're going to get a lot of longs of, people interested in long positions, right? There's no doubt that a lot of people would see this as a correction, right? It's bull market. This is just part of a correction. No doubt that this area is interesting for longs, guys, right? I would not want to enter a short position. As explained in the last few days, you're either short from here, right? Purely based on that C wave, right? Get the rejection here. You have that option to short, okay? I didn't jump into this short position. I jumped into a short position in this corrective move, which was hitting the point of control. And I was very much, letting the community know that, hey, I missed out on the short, guys. I missed out on this drop. But don't worry, because I'll jump in later on once we get the bounce. And, I got into the bounce, of course, right? So we'll be discussing, the support. Here, I'm not interested in shorts down here, guys. We are really looking for a kind of a bounce of some kind, right? We do have many reasons to believe that we could get a bounce here. We are hitting the support of this descending channel. That would be the basic number one reason, right? If you want some basic stuff, well, here you got some basic stuff, right? It's just a support of a descending channel. More advanced stuff, of course, we do have the value area high of this trading zone, okay? And there's an interesting Gartly pattern here, and I need to give a shout out to 𝗬𝗆. Sorry, my man, but this is stealing his projection. I'm not taking a look at Gartly patterns, harmonic patterns in general too much. I used to a lot. But overall, there is a possibility here of a Gartly pattern formation, which is, I really, really like it. I have to say, I really, really like it. And the main reason why I like this Gartly pattern is because it's incredibly symmetrical, okay? Your left wing here is incredibly symmetrical to your right wing, okay? 7/8 Fibonacci from these lows, hasn't just hit quite yet, and it would be kind of in confluence, okay, with the lows that we have here, the 7/8 Fibonacci with the lows for that double bottom. We also have a valid, okay, Elliott wave theory scenario here. Let me just hide this harmonic pattern. We're actually going to shade it a little bit. We're actually going to turn the shade a little bit lower here. But overall, this harmonic pattern, you got the support of the descending channel. You got a harmonic pattern. Anybody that is not aware of harmonic patterns, you'll be like, what the heck is this, right? A Gartly pattern. This is it's a harmonic pattern, okay? It's purely based on Fibonacci levels, but this is literally what we could be looking at here at the moment. A bullish Gartly pattern, which we have a lot of confluence. You know, we got Elliott wave theory, we got harmonic, we got confluence based on volume profile. We have, you know, there's lots going on here in this zone. There's lots going on here to see support. All right. So this is where it's getting a little bit wicky, right? It's getting a bit rangy and it's getting a little bit wicky, and that's good because the price is getting a reaction. Now, after this reaction, of course, you would expect the price to get a significant bounce, or you probably want to test the lows, right? And this is where me and you, my friend, take action, okay? Unless you're in a long position already. But overall, a local double bottom here would be very interesting. Now, not only because of the harmonic or the support of the channel or the value area high of this trading zone, right, which is literally where we are getting that reaction, it is also, and this is only one trading setup, okay, keeping it simple. If we come down and wick the lows, it's a double bottom. It's a sniper trade, stop loss at the lows. You're looking for the bounce here. You're looking for a significant bounce of a couple of $1,000s. It's the only trading setup that is available right now where the price action is. Where we at right now, for me, there's no longs or there's no shorts. We're getting a little bounce here. It could be a dead cat bounce. It could still be part of a wave 4 and we get a wave 5, okay? And this is why this could be interesting, because it's literally this scenario right over here, okay? This one right over here. It doesn't need to be a contracting diagonal, okay? It doesn't need to be, but I just put this here because, I don't know, it looks good, right? So this could be your wave 1, your wave 2, your wave 3, your wave 4, which is usually a shallow consolidation, and you take out the lows, and this is the moment that you get the bounce to get above all of the lower highs of today. This is the long setup. This is the long setup that there is right now available on the chart. Double bottom, claim the lows, swing failure pattern. You're looking for a bounce, give or take, of $1,000 to $2,000 approximately. You know, maybe it might be more, but you're overall looking at this green box to take your profits, which is sweeping up the lower highs of today. Now, all of this is built up in structure, okay? We are putting everything here to understand that this could be a long setup, okay? Could the price break down and sweep up the lows? Absolutely. It doesn't mean that you need a long instantly as you claim the lows. It just gives you a plan, it gives you a setup, and it gives you a stop loss, which is literally beneath the wick of the potential fake out movement to the downside. Now, we have a lot here based on the analysis. I am going to get here harmonics, Elliott wave theory, all of the different levels of confluence that we do have available to understand, hey, that this is actually this is a pretty decent level, right? This is actually a zone that we could bounce. And as the breakdown of yesterday didn't break down massively, it didn't drop down $10,000, it dropped down a few $1,000s, right? We are seeing a reaction, and when the price gets a reaction, regardless if it is to the upside or to the downside, you could be looking for a reversal, in this case down, in this case up. So in this case, we do see the chance of the price bouncing, right, regardless of taking out the low. I mean, if you would have been a little bit more aggressive at the lows, okay, there was a long setup here that Devil did provide in the Legends trading community, a bit aggressive. We were getting some bullish CVD divergence. We did not take out the lows on Bybit, and I think on most of the exchanges. Some exchanges did actually tap that low, which is interesting to see. But we had a lot of bullish CVDs here. So anybody that was long in here, this retracement, there was kind of two options here today if you wanted to long, okay, this pullback, which was a little bit aggressive. You need to understand that if you're longing somewhere in this zone, you need to have a stop loss, right? And the stop loss has to be the low. Not trading with stop losses, you're at the risk of the price really rolling over, right? And this is the moment that people start saying, you know, I'm getting burnt on my account. So I really like swing failure patterns, double tops, double bottoms. You know the deal, right? I love double bottoms, triple bottoms. The more bottoms we have in a party, the better the party is going to be, right? So I love double bottoms, and I'm very much aware of double bottoms to get into a trade. So the fact that we had massive bullish CVD divergence here, and we could have formed a higher low, because overall this could be a zigzag move. It can be a zigzag, and I'll get to the complex scenarios later on where, yes, this could be the low. This could be the low, the reaction bounce, and this could be the low. So you want to try and really get in at the lowest level possible here in this trade. But, you know, if you know, Devil very much pointed this out in the Discord. You know, it's a potential long here at this zone. Be aware that the low can be taken. You can get stopped out if you have a stop loss here, but you can get back in if you get the reaction. And if the bounce happens, of course, you know, you're paying off 3-4 times your stop loss. So you will manage to make gains regardless if you get stopped out. If you attempted this long position here in between 7.8 and 0.88 Fibonacci, a little bit aggressive, but there was just some crazy bullish CVD divergence here. Lots of shorts entering the market with this dump. It was insanity, right? We can show you right over here on the CVD that local move to the downside, which was getting some pretty aggressive bullish CVD divergence here, which were very, very nice to see, right? And on some exchanges, we kind of almost tapped the low here. Anyway, so this is the thing right now. Can a bounce happen at this area? Absolutely. You know, a bounce could happen. We are sitting at the value area high of this zone. You know, that there is support. We are sitting at the bottom of the channel here, right? From the two lower highs that we have from all-time high. You got a channel with these lows, and you're kind of holding the base at the moment. So there is support. You are getting the reaction, and there is a bullish count when we consider Elliott wave theory, which would literally be a larger complex sideways momentum, right? In this case, what we do have here is your zigzag and your W, and then right over here you have a zigzag move up, and right now you have a aggressive zigzag move down, okay? Because there is kind of a three-wave move down. What does this mean if we have a three-wave move down after a three-wave move up? Well, there is the potential of forming an ABC flat, right? Which is looking at the price to rally pretty aggressively, potentially to take out those highs of Tuesday. So it's kind of interesting to take a long at the lows here after this reaction. We are at support. We are at, you know, we do see the value area high of this range. We got the support of the channel. We do have this Elliott wave count as well, right? Elliott wave count gives you so many different scenarios that you just need to take them into consideration. And in an ABC flat, in this case in your wave X, because we may be forming a larger sideways corrective move that will end up bullish. You know, if we do get this movement and then we go sideways here, still a lot of information that we need. It will be bullish, right? I will come out with a crazy thumbnail and a crazy title. It's bullish. It's a confirmation. We go up. But right now, you know, we need more information. I do understand that this is a good zone, okay? Trying to long the lows after this wick, higher lows, bullish CVDs. There is another long potential, okay? So maybe some of you aggressive traders, I wouldn't say long the bounce right now. We bounced over $1,000. Longing right now is not the greatest option. We want to try and long lower. I will provide a possible long position later on confirmation. Okay, literally the confirmation would be pretty simple to explain. Okay, you just want a nice, 5-wave move to the upside here, a nice impulsive move to the upside in the next coming hours. Of course, the weekend is coming. So I'm not sure if we are going to get that volatility. We're not going to get strong momentum to the up. I'm not sure if we are going to get strong momentum to the upside, right? Tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday. We have had a few weekends with volatility actually recently, but who knows, right? Maybe yes. So in an ABC flat, which in this case would be this one, what you want to see in your A wave is a 3-wave structure, which we do have. We do have a 3-wave structure here. What you want to see in your B wave is also a 3-wave structure, taking out the origin of your wave A, right? Which is kind of what is happening here. When we do take a look at the Fibonacci extension, okay, in an ABC flat, your B wave most commonly gets to the 1236, 1382 Fibonacci extension from your A wave. So when you measure your A wave here, which is this movement that we had since Sunday to Tuesday, and we take a look at the extension and we reverse it, okay, what we will see is that we are getting supported at the 1236 and the 1382. Okay, I'm going to have to clean up the chart here in a second because it's getting very messy. So yeah, I mean, this is possible, right? This ABC flat, it is definitely a possibility, especially when we are at this support, value area high of this range, the support of the channel. We do have the potential Elliott wave theory flat scenario here to complete a larger sideways complex correction in WXY. We're just going to give it the possibility, and we are hitting the most common zone, right, for your flat, which is in between the 1236 138 Fibonacci extension from your A wave. So we're sitting at that zone, and this is where we're getting the reaction. So yeah, look, we are getting the reaction. So a bounce from this area is very much a possibility, right? So eventually longing, on the bounce, it's not the greatest idea, guys. You want to try and long at the lowest level possible. So today in the Discord, Devil was pointing out, for all of those cowboys from the Wild West, hey, you want a long? We might form a higher low here. We might form a higher low, but we also might form a double bottom. So you have two options here. You wait for the double bottom. That might not happen. Or you wait, or you enter the trade. You put your stop loss, and you're happy to get stopped out and re-enter later on if you get the double bottom. Stop loss at the lows, you recover, you're making some gains. So sometimes you need to risk a stop loss. Right? Sometimes you need to risk a stop loss to get into the trade because maybe you form a higher low. And this was because of bullish CVD divergence. And we do have a valid zigzag count here. Is this zigzag finished or not? Well, the price moved down pretty aggressively. I have to say, this could definitely be a double zigzag kind of move. WXY. We're literally looking for a 3-wave structure if we were to complete a ABC flat, right? I do not know if this is going to happen, guys. Probably not. Probably we're going to form a lower high in this zone and we're going to dump down. Right, but I do see that the possibility of the price, forming, getting support here and getting a larger bounce. So look, you might think, where the heck am I going to get into trade? Right? If I didn't long at the lowest level possible, if you did get into shorts, guys, regardless of this, ABC scenario that we mentioned, right? I missed out on shorting this level, guys. I didn't get into this short, even though I understood the possibility of this scenario, right? The ABC, literally. I didn't short the rejection of this movement up to take out the highs of the A wave. Right? Rejection, stop at the high. I didn't get in. I wasn't too confident. There was high volume here, and I was like, I don't like that too much of this SFP. But I was very much letting the people know, don't worry, I will get into the short at some stage when we analyze the next scenarios. And obviously, the zigzag move yesterday into the point of control was definitely the option. I mean, you know, Devil did provide that setup in the Legends trading community, which was very, very nice indeed. Still holding some of that short position, which is, you know, just realizing that, you know, we could go lower. But I'm, you know, obviously interested in the longs here. I am in a long from this higher low. Stop loss was at the low. I'm happy to get stopped out. And, you know, maybe the price does form a lower high here. And if we do form a lower high, we do have this option. This option right over here is there. This option is there, okay? Regardless if it is going to be a 1-2-1-2, right? It doesn't matter. There is a possibility of a 5-wave structure development here. If that were to be the case, I would be a little bit skeptical on the bounce. I would say, you know, we could be forming a double 1-2 here, and things are going to get a little bit more messy in the next coming days if we claim the low again. Because if we do claim the low again, this movement down will be looking pretty impulsive. Okay, it will have a 5-wave structure. Of course, it could be an ABC movement here. It's just a zigzag, and the price could be very bullish. So if the price does claim the lows and we get a very, very strong impulsive move to the upside, right, and we see high volume here, I would say that this is looking pretty damn good, right? Whoever's in long from here, very well, very good. But there could be some options for some longs later on, depending on how the price moves up here, because if the volume increases and it forms a very strong leading move with you know, five waves basically, right? It forms a very strong leading move with increased volume throughout the middle of the pattern, right? Of the wave, which would literally be your wave 3. There will be time to jump into a long position to believe that this could be an ABC, and we're going to take out all-time highs again in the next coming days after seeing your confirmation move to the upside, right? So if the price moves up impulsively, 5 waves, increased volume, after taking out the low, okay, for me it's very important to take out the low. You know, a double bottom scenario here, we might get this on the live stream. It might happen on the live, and I would be happy to get into that long position here. Okay, stop loss beneath the low. We can handle the situation, right? You manage risk very, very well with these trading setups, okay? So, I mean, let's see. You know, maybe the 4th wave is developing right now. Maybe you get another stretch to the upside. I would be a little bit skeptical on the short position, but we do have a lot of resistance where we have the lower highs of today. We do have a lot of resistance at this area. Of course, if this has to be your wave 1, you do not want the price overlapping, okay, your wave 1. You don't want the price to come all the way up here. So this could be an interesting short position if we sweep up the lower highs of today, okay, because you could be forming some kind of a flat structure here, okay, without overlapping this pivot preferably. And what is interesting regarding levels, we do have the previous week open, which is exactly at that zone. Previous week open, we did get a bounce yesterday, apart from the SFP of the lows of the range. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but we do have, we know we had the previous week open acting as support on that little bounce, right, of about $1,000 yesterday. Quick little bounce after sweeping up the low. So eventually this level has provided support yesterday, okay? Previous week open, the open of the previous week, did provide exact support. We tapped the previous week open yesterday, you know, forming a kind of a swing failure pattern from the lows of the range, and it got a nice bounce of $1,000. So it got a reaction. It got a quick reaction the previous week open. Eventually, if it has been support, it could turn into resistance, right? So it could turn into resistance, this level. This is why sweeping up the lower highs of today you know, can be an interesting scenario. Can be an interesting scenario to then get that movement down, okay, to kind of potentially complete this structure that we've been talking about. Okay, these are very intraday levels. They're very intraday setups. Okay, so there is a short, there is a long. They're very good setups to manage risk. Okay, what I like about these setups is they're very good to manage risk. We have a proven level of support. Okay, after sweeping the lows of yesterday, right? We did get that bounce at the previous week open. So we got an instant bounce as support, and this, without a doubt, obviously we flipped it as resistance right over here early this morning, late last night actually, depending on where you are. So we formed a lower high, and as we've hit the 0.88 Fibonacci from this drop, or even the 0.9, you know, we almost took out the lows on some exchanges. You know, this could definitely be a flat structure to label your wave 4, okay? Very, very possible. It's pretty clear that we are downtrending locally, all right? If we zoom out, we're in an uptrend, we know that. We're in a bull market, but we are downtrending locally. So if we are looking for intraday setups to manage risk very, very well, you know, this is the perfect level. It's the perfect level if you want to consider a short. Right now in the middle here, you know, you're in the middle of this low and this lower high. It's like, there is no trade here to be taken, right? There's just no trade in the middle of this mess to be taken. As you're locally downtrending, you would say, okay, maybe there's a higher chance that we do claim the low. So maybe you have the ABC scenario. I don't know, right? I don't know what's going to happen. What I do know is there's very interesting levels. Previous week open, I realized the ABC flat locally. I realized that this could be part of a larger 5-wave move down, regardless if it's this contracting diagonal or not, or an impulse. It would be an impulse if you do not overlap this pivot low. There's many options. So in this case, it would be sweeping up the local lower highs, right? You manage to rally here to the upside and you sweep up the lower highs of today. I would treat the previous week open as your swing failure pattern level. You get above it, you're not interested in that trade. You get above it and you start trading beneath the level, it could be one of those trades to enter, stop loss at the highs of the rejection, and look for the price after that liquidity grab to possibly start rolling to the downside to claim the local lows. So it is a valid, very good setup here, not only based on the confluence of the level where we do have proof of support from yesterday's wick, okay? We exactly tapped that level, guys, and we got a bounce of $1,000. So it got a reaction. Getting a reaction as support means it can react as resistance. So getting a fake breakout to the upside from this previous week open level can only mean one thing. You are claiming the liquidity above the lower highs of today, and you roll back down to claim the lows of today, which is your target zone. So in a nutshell, what we would be looking at here is to short the fake out. Short the fake out, right, to the upside above that weekly open level that did get supported yesterday. So if we do reject from that level, stop loss above the high of the fake out, and we're targeting the lows. The moment the price is making a 1-to-1, 2-to-1 profit, we can already minimize our risk on the position. We have Elliott wave theory that is backing our theory, all right, of the potential of the price moving lower. We are locally in a downtrend. We do have an ABC flat count based on today's price action that could be also, right, giving us a reason for this rejection. So you add up all of this and it's like, yeah, this plan looks very good. I'm adding Elliott wave theory. I've got the previous week open. I've got, a flat structure developing possibly on the lower time frame. And there's only one way on how you can execute this trade. You need the rejection from the previous week open. You need the rejection from the previous week open. This trade is only executed when you fake out above the previous week open. So you can have your stop loss and you can manage your risk. Because what is most important in trading is preserving your capital, not only winning, right? So this is a good setup here to manage risk, and it's a realistic projection. We are locally downtrending. And what happens when we are downtrending, guys, locally, and we form a lower high? Where are you targeting if you get into a lower high? You're literally targeting the lows. So in this case, we would be targeting the lows, right? Hope it makes sense here for this setup. So that's a little bit of what I see here right now. Okay, we're adding the confluence. We got the Elliott wave theory to back up, okay, the projection. And that's really what we're looking at here locally for the short position. Of course, the fourth wave could be in. We might get this on live, guys, unless it's going to be a boring stream and we're just going to be ranging here on the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. You know, some of the scenarios will happen. All right. Remember, if you do break out from this zone instantly, right, and it just breaks out, well, eventually I would be, you know, expecting higher levels, right? I would be expecting higher levels. You know, there's no major short position. If we do, if we do not reject, okay, let the price move up. We got the center of this channel. Centers of the channel sometimes provide a bit of resistance, but there's really not there's no major short here for me, okay, based on stop loss. If we do, I would just let the price action develop, okay? If we do break out from that previous week open and this doesn't come to fruition, this right strategy, this theory of the technical analysis doesn't come to fruition, then we are looking at something else, right? We're looking at something else here. And what we could be looking at is either, yeah, let me just get the folders here. I mean, we could be looking at this structure, as explained, where we have a zigzag wave A, zigzag wave B. We're hitting, you know, we got lots of support here, guys, as explained at the beginning of the stream. We got the value area high of this range. We do have the channel support, right? We do have Elliott wave theory to back up the possibility of the price forming a flat here in your wave X. You know, we're adding a little bit of the picture here, and this is what we like to do, right? This is how we come to the conclusion on the streams to say, hey, you know, this scenario that we talked about is actually the one that is kind of playing out, right? So I understand how the price can move. I understand how the price could move, right? It could either move like this, it could move like that, or it could move like this other way, right? According to these three different movements, right, give or take on average of 3-4 movements you usually have. You don't have 10 different movements, okay? You can have them, but I like to go with the most probable scenarios. So with all of these movements that you know how the price can develop, you know, you do have the levels hidden for your setup, right? And this is the magic, right? This is the magic of really knowing how the price could move. I don't know how the price is going to move. I know how it could move, right? And this is the beauty of really understanding the markets and studying the markets on how it moves and adding the resistance, right? And you do know where those hidden trades can be, which makes it very difficult for the average Joe, right? The people that don't have experience, or they have a 1, 2 year, 3 year of experience and they're getting there. Well, you know, it's very hard for them to really look at the picture, right? This is why I really enjoy watching the charts from nothing, right? I like to start off like this, and I can see it without doing, you know, anything. You know, this is why on a lot of the streams we develop it from fresh, right? Because I can see, you know, you can already see it when you have the experience. You know, you guys, you know, anybody that has a lot of experience can say that, you know, a good trader and a good analyst will start off with the chart blank, right? No moving averages, no RSIs, overbought, oversold, none of that nonsense, right? Blank chart, and you can actually see how the waves do get developed, right? So, you know, this is what we don't exactly know which one is going to play out. I have to be honest here, okay? I'm not going to throw flowers and confetti and say, well done, mate, you know, you're the best. We know several options, right? This is the beauty. We know several options that could happen. And there's trading opportunities hidden on those options. And this is what I want to try and share with the people, right? You know, as mentioned, you know, this is I enjoy it myself because I want to prove to the people that it does work. It does take hours, guys. I'm living in Dubai and I'm doing great, but I ain't, you know, down at the beach club, right, trading from my phone. You know, I'm in the office. I'm analyzing the scenarios very, very carefully with very good risk management. And I'm looking to, to get into these trading setups very, very carefully on the exact movements. You know, I was very vocal on I missed this short position, guys. I did not get into this short, even though we were talking about the potential prediction of this movement happening. And the main reason why I did not get into this short position is because of the volume. We had increased volume. I understood that this could be a multiple 1-2 and the highest volume to finish in a third wave. You know, I love double tops. I love swing failure patterns. I didn't get into this one though because I didn't like the local price action. I said, guys, don't worry. You know, I will look to get into a later level, right? Potentially that wave 2, where we have a zigzag and we come up into a strong level of resistance, right? And all of this is not to show off or anything, right? It's just to make you understand you can do it as well, guys. You can do it as well, right? I know a lot of people can do it as well. People that are very distracted and just, you know, give up and they don't continue the consistent learning and understanding the market, you eventually will throw the towel. You know, I'm saying already, you know, this is why, you know, I've got a channel of over 90,000 subscribers and I got 700 people watching today. You know why? Because most of the people throw the towel. And it's like that, guys. You know, it's like that. It's just, you know, this is the main reason why. You know, it's too technical. It's too difficult to follow up, and people just throw the towel. But if you get into the zone of understanding the market, you will. You know, it's the best job in the world. It is. But of course, you need to be very careful. You need to manage your emotions, your good risk management. Okay. But the people that are consistent and pay attention, you know, you will make it. You will make it. Anyway, just a little tip there, guys. A little bit of motivation for the people that are watching, right? Because it is extremely difficult to come to, you know, the different projections that could happen. But let's make it clear, right? I can give you the setups. I can really go through the different scenarios that could happen and where the setups could lie, right? And this one is a very realistic one. You add up confluence. Anybody that is wondering about the previous week and previous month levels, well, you know, I have a folder with previous week and previous month levels, which is giving me the previous week high, the previous week close, and the previous week open and previous week low. You bet, for anybody, just for education, you just go to the weekly time frame. I know most of you might know this, especially if you are a legit follower. And you must know your stuff already. But for anybody that is relatively new and wants to say, hey, how did you get that previous week open on the chart, right? Which I did get someone asking today, funny enough. This is why I'm talking about it. You basically just get a horizontal ray. You get your magnet. And with this magnet, it will give you the wick high, the body of the candle, right? This is how you get your previous week levels. Previous week high, previous week close, previous week open, and previous week low. You tap it, you put it the color that you like the most, you put it on text, and this is how, you know, you put a folder here. So you have your folder with your previous week levels, previous month levels, and you add it as confluence on the chart, right? Anybody that had this scenario ready yesterday could have jumped into a scalp long position, not only for an SFP from the lows of the range, but actually bouncing from the previous week open. Maybe there was a sniper trade that was happy, right? This moved 1%. this price action moved 1% if you sniped that support level. You know, and with a little bit of leverage, you can make, you know, some pretty interesting money, right, with just a 1% move. So it's just another level that you can add on the chart, guys. Previous week open, previous week close, previous week high, right? Just a little, gave a little tip right there, just a little bit of education on that. I know it's something easy, but a lot of people that are new will just don't follow up with this, right? So let's go right away through. We might get one of those levels. We are very close to some of these scenarios, guys. Okay, so we might see something. I'm going to keep it really, really simple here. If we do break out, say that we break out to the upside, I will start leaning on this scenario possibly, right? And we could still form a wave 4 even though we break up here and then move down. I mean, it would be very channely. You're overlapping here. It could still be a contracting diagonal if your wave 5, you know, is not going to be, if you're not going to form a channel move, right? If it's not going to be channely, it could still be a contracting diagonal. It still could be a double bottom. You get back above here. But if you break out successfully, if we get a decent move up, okay, counting this higher low, which is looking a bit cheeky, guys. This is a very, very sharp higher low, very, very low to the recent lows. On some exchanges, it was claimed, okay. On some exchanges, it was claimed. You know, I wouldn't like this for a wave 2. That is for sure. It's just too low. Coming down this low means that there's a high chance that this low is going to be claimed, right? Because on Bybit, also on Coinbase, we did not claim this low. And it's very, very rare for the price to form a wave 2 hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci, right? Or going just as close as the low. It's very, very rare for this to be a wave 2. And most commonly, it's well known for a wave B. And this is why I would be very, very skeptical if we do claim these highs. I would really lean on the idea that this is very possibly forming an ABC flat. And what is likely going to happen is that we are going to take out the lows. So this is just a moment to take action. Previous week open, which is the level of guidance. Sometimes you can have these levels for guidance. Sweep up the low highs of today. We got a reaction yesterday. It would be the short trigger. Stop loss above the high of the fake out. We're targeting the lows. It's a nice little movement of about 2%, which, you know, we can make some money here, guys, and we can manage risk very, very well. And the trading is all about managing risk, guys. And obviously the plan and the analysis is important. But this would definitely be a setup that I would be very interested in. That we might get on the live stream. We need the rejection. I have a stop loss above the high. We're giving it a bit of room. Okay. We're targeting the lows. And, you know, I like this scenario just because the fact that the price has moved all the way down to this, almost tapping the low here locally. It would be rare to be a successful higher low for a massive move up, okay? It's not impossible, but it would be rare for a form a higher low here at the 0.9 Fibonacci and successfully move to the upside in a breakout, okay? Which is increasing the chances that this downtrend, you know, is likely to continue, at least to take out the lows, and then we'll follow up on that. If you break down very aggressively here, then lower we go, right? Lower we go. I would be interested in the double bottom as mentioned, okay? A double bottom here. I tell you what, I like this swing failure pattern level. If you want to, yeah, I mean, this could be a guidance right there because we do have the harmonic as well. 7.8 Fibonacci is exactly, give or take a few dollars above the level. Above 7.8 Fib is above slightly. I mean, we could say it's at the same level. So instead of considering the double bottom, right, which you can have a pretty significant wick to the downside, And instead of entering on this swing failure pattern, which you're going to enter a little late and your stop loss will be larger, we can consider this higher low as a swing failure pattern, because, you know, not only we do have the backup of the potential 5-wave structure finishing here, which would be the bullish, you know, ABC scenario, right? Or we don't know if it's going to be bullish, because it might be a 1-2-1-2 and then we roll down. But regardless, it would mean that this structure could be at an end stage and we could get a nice little bounce of a few $1,000s. So instead of the local double bottom of today, I would really reach out to this low. That would be an epic swing failure pattern, because you have the 7-8 from the lows to the highs, which eventually is backing up also that Gartly harmonic pattern that we do have on the chart as well. And when we do analyze the structures of the waves, yeah, we have a potential 5-wave structure down here. As mentioned before, I do not know if this is going to happen, but if it does, I know my levels of interest to get into a long position. Swing failure pattern from this low would be the best option to get in at the lowest level possible. And if you do break down, you do not enter any trade. You do not enter any trade, okay? Because a lot of people would say, I believe in your analysis, it's going to form this. I think the harmonic looks beautiful, right? No, if you do not get a reaction at the low where it can give you a good entry with good risk management, you do not enter that trade. You know, I have a bad time because, you know, I do follow different channels, guys, just to see what the hell they're talking about. And they're not talking about this, I can tell you that. And you can confirm that right away in the comment section. So I really want to, you know, give as much value and much different scenarios and that could happen, because we love to come on the stream and say, hey, remember this scenario that we talked about, right? Remember this scenario that we talked about? Well, you know, it kind of did happen, right? It kind of did happen. This is actually how the price developed throughout the week since Monday. This projection was developed on Monday, 3 movements in advance, and then we have people today talking about manipulation of the market, right? Which, you know, it adds to the technical analysis, right? But technical analysis comes first eventually. So I'm going to keep it, you know, locally here, it is what it is. If we were to get that breakdown, I would be skeptical. I mean, I don't see the price action breaking down here successfully. From current price levels, this would have to be some kind of a double 1-2, and this wave 2 is extremely shallow. I don't see it breaking down here. I think this is a low probability movement to get a breakdown, and a bounce does look more likely. Okay, so when we take a look at the probability sides of the situation, I think breaking down is low probability. Okay, a big solid breakdown is low probability, but it doesn't mean that we jump into a long, right, on any drop. The trading plan has been explained, so it's important that we do actually form, you know, a reaction at this low. This would be the best one just because it's with the 7-8 Fibonacci, and we do have the Gartly pattern as well, which looks, you know, very interesting for that, you know, swing failure pattern of these lows. This would also have an attempt to possibly break down the value area high. Yeah, you have point of control. I mean, this is where the high volume begins as well, right? When we take a look, I mean, this would be much easier if we just put the volume profile instead of doing this. Yeah, I mean, look at this, right? This is where we have a solid base on the volume profile. So we're adding all of this confluence with the harmonic, with a higher low sweep, 7-8 Fibonacci, and big amount of volume. When we take a look at the last few weeks, it's not going to be easy, guys. This is like a weekly order block, right? Not a weekly, but a 2-day or 3-day order block, right? It's a big range where it's given us a lot of volume. So for the price to really break down from here and slice it, we need a lot of volume. We need a lot, guys. Hundreds of millions of dollars of volume to break down this massive wall. It is a big, big wall. And according to the structure that we are developing at the moment, you know, I do see the chance of reversing from here or getting that double bottom and then getting the reversal, right? So yeah, just take it into consideration. We've got a trading plan here for a long. And could the price break down and sweep up the lows here at 100K? Absolutely. You know, this is just looking at the probability side of things. It's not impossible. We can never say it's impossible. But I would say this is a low probability movement, especially as we enter into the weekend. I do not think that this breakdown will happen, okay? That's obviously my analysis. I could be completely wrong, and I wake up tomorrow morning and we're trading below 100K. So anybody that is, you know, trading, eventually you want to manage risk, right? You don't want to get into longs, right? No stop loss, adding to position. This is only a correction, bull market, right? You know, you kind of possessed with the bull market and greed that social media has integrated in your brain, right? And you know, you just want to be careful with your trading. But it does make sense that we do actually hold, okay? So yeah, setups are relatively simple, guys. Here, it's either a fake breakdown for a nice little bounce. It's a scalp. Of course, you know, I would be targeting the session VWAP, which would already be $1,000, $1,500 away. The session VWAP for a take profit one, protect position, you know, leave some open. But it's a very valid trade here. So short position does look interesting as explained, right? Let's get the volume profile, clean the chart very, very well. I'm going to go through the comp section, guys. Sorry, my bad here. I did not go through the comp section. Please forgive me. I just was really focused on what is going on here on the chart and talk about the internal setups. Remember, for those trading setups, you really need the reaction at the certain levels that I explained. Regardless, this one, the weekly open fake out for that possible ABC flat. Okay, we're leaning on the possibility that we could be forming this structure right over here. And if this does happen, obviously your take profit is the lows, and the lows with this low over here is an interesting swing failure pattern to take out the lower highs of today. And this is literally the day trading scenarios that are available for the day when we have this price action in the middle of today's lows and today's highs. Now, if the price were to break out as explained, well, we do have to wait for a pullback and see the price action develop on that momentum to the upside, because eventually if the price were to move up here very aggressively, I'm already saying that there's a higher chance in claiming the low, and there's a simple reason why. We do have a downtrend locally throughout the last few days. So in a downtrend, what is most common is revisit the lows, regardless if you're going to get that bounce or not. Double bottoms, you know, starting to look interesting. So we are downtrending, and we did hit the 0.88, right? The 0.9 Fibonacci. We literally almost claimed the lows, and that is extremely rare to form a higher low. Okay, it's extremely rare to form a higher low so close to the lows, which means there is a higher chance, okay, in this downtrend, regardless if you sweep up the highs first, that we could be claiming the internal lows, because it's a low probability higher low for a strong impulse. It's not impossible, but it's just very unlikely to happen, okay? So we're probably looking at those lows to be swept in the next coming hours. If the price were to magically form a higher low here and gets a very strong move up and a consolidation and another leg up, well, then eventually, you know, if we do get some kind of a corrective structure, this does look impulsive 5-wave structure, counting the high low of today, the correction could be analyzed, right, to get another leg up, to sweep up this high. And that's you looking at the general idea of looking at the ABC flat, okay, which is this one right over here. And you're forming a larger corrective structure. However, your X wave is formed by a flat, okay? And of course, for this C wave, I mean, preferably, I mean, you're going to see 5 waves move to the upside, right? So this is a little bit too big. It would be a little bit too big, but what you would want to see is something like this, and then, right, a 5-wave structure to complete your C wave. But this is the moment that you would be interested in. It would be nice because you're literally breaking. I mean, I'm not sure value area low would be, yeah, value area low would be a little bit high here. I would say that this could be interesting. You don't need to hold it as support, but the previous week open, I don't know, you just need that price action. You need an impulse, and your interesting zone would be in between 50% and 7/8 Fibonacci from your local move to the upside, right? 50% to the 7/8. If you move up impulsively, right, you want to see a nice stretch of legs here on your next wave, a little correction, and then another high, and then you really can consider that this is a pullback, and you're going to get another leg up. Yeah, just at least your target 1 would be the local high, and second target would be this high. I hope it makes sense, guys. I have a feeling that sometimes I'm not explaining myself very well, and I need to explain myself a little bit better. Let me know in the comment section if my explanations are very bad and I need to improve, or they're pretty clear for most, guys. Let me know. I would really want to know, what is your feeling on the explanations here? Is it too complex? You get the point. Anyway, let's go through the comment section now. Yes, guys, it is time to say hello. We're going to talk about, I don't know much more, guys. What else are we going to talk about? We can take a look at some altcoins. Okay, we can take a look at some different scenarios. Remember, if you are interested in trading, guys, okay, it's another way to support the channel. You do have many exchanges here. Bluffin offers a 15% cashback. Okay, so what you deposit, you'll be getting 15% for trading added to your account. Okay, make sure to read the conditions here. It's up to $5,000. You just need an email and a password on Bluffin. The same for Weeks. Weeks has great perks as well. 20% deposit bonus up to $400, $30K of total rewards, and also a 25% fee reduction. Okay, so yeah, take advantage as well here for those bonuses on these exchanges. You only need an email and a password, no VPN needed, and you get all the perks and fee discounts, okay, when you sign up with the link down below. So let's go right away. I'm waiting on several scenarios here. Still on that short, but I've taken most of the profits of the short position, and I am interested in longs here at the low levels, right? If the price comes down and we do create an SFP from this low, I'm actually going to target this low. This could be an interesting catch. This could be an interesting catch that I would want to get into, okay? Could be an interesting catch, which will be we'll be seeing if we can get down there, guys. Okay, let me go quickly through the comment section. It does look like, you know, as mentioned, that it does look like we have a high chance in claiming that low. The structure doesn't look solid to get a major breakdown with this correction. I think this is unlikely, and I think this is more likely. Okay, it all has to do with the volume profile as well, right? If we just want to keep it simple, you know, we got a big wall here of volume. Okay, so a double bottom here locally, it might be the setup. Okay, it might be the setup, and it would be absolutely golden if we actually tap this low over here. And we have the Gartly pattern as well, which is looking pretty interesting. So we might get that on the live stream, guys. We might get this set up on the live stream. Let's see. Let's see. Vamos. Let's go through the comment section. How is everybody doing? What's going on? Let's go. We got CBM Crypto by Mattia. We need to give a shout out to CBM because he's an absolute legend. I love this guy. This guy is an absolute legend. We need to give CBM a big shout out. If you haven't checked his channel already, guys, you need to do so. He's a legend. He's a legend. I actually played tennis with him this morning. Okay, I'm going to put his YouTube channel in the comment section. If you don't know who this guy is, you need to know right away. Okay, he's here in the pinned comment, guys. Make sure to share some love. Go and check him out. Okay, great content, value. He's less technical than me. So if you want more news, what's going on with the trader that is the whale that's trading, right? That's getting liquidated, and different news that is coming out, more general, easier to follow technical analysis, a lot of information, more than me. Okay, I'm just pure Bitcoin TA. If you want more quality information, you need to go and check out Crypto by Mattia. Okay, he just opened the channel a few months ago. Let's go through the comment section and say, see what's going on, guys. Altcoins, the Bitcoin dominance, guys, it's not looking good. Bitcoin dominance is moving up, guys. My altcoins are not looking that great. The only altcoin that's looking good, because it's my biggest holding, is Chainlink, and I'm up 100%. I'm up a 2x on my average price zone. Rest of the altcoins, which is not much of my portfolio, I would say 10% of my entire portfolio are these random different altcoins that you just throw a dart, right, with closed eyes to see if one's going to do a 20x, right, in the bull run. They're not doing that great, guys. Lots of the altcoins are just pretty much still flat. Bitcoin dominance is getting a little bit of a pump today, so we're just going to have to remain a little bit patient on the altcoin bags that we're holding, right? Unless you bought what's that coin, SPX XP9 600 6900, I'm not sure, the one of the stock market, right? Pocket Network, this is up 625% today. What the heck is this? Pocket Network, what's going on here? Oof, I would say this is a manipulation pump right there that happened today. Yeah, you get the deal, right? We can only have a bag of altcoins, 10, 20, 30, and see if one of them is going to do the 100x, right? The loved 100x that all of these, crypto influencers, crazy people on YouTube, next 100x, next 1000x. You need to just buy a bunch. You might be lucky, and one of them does actually do that, right? So anyway, let's go right. More dump, more to come. Let's go through the comment section, guys. Let me know anything interesting, any story, let me just double check the like button, guys. I hope people, enjoyed the analysis on Bitcoin. No way, 200 likes, 700 people watching. Legends, come on, no way. No way. I'm coming back when we get to 300 likes. Smash up that like button, legends. Come on. I tried to give you, a perspective of what's going on here. We try and look at the different projections. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows. But we know what different moves can happen, right? And where we have the setups, that do lie behind the chart, right? What else do you want, right? High probability, remain patient. We have a few plans here. Regardless for a short or a long, they're a day trade, right? They're only movements of 1 to 2%. Nothing crazy. You can hold a little bit of the position just in case it goes higher or it goes lower, right? Just like this short that I got into. Maybe you got into a short up here. I shorted here. I didn't get into this short. I took most of the profits here at the lows. It's a target zone. It's getting a reaction. I left some open. And now eventually I'm interested in long positions at the lows here. And I'm interested in a double bottom. If we do not double bottom, I will not be in a long trade. If we double bottom, I will be in a long trade. And you will see that tomorrow. Right? We're just keeping it simple. And, I'm not longing. I'm not holding a loss if we lose the level, guys. Simple as that. It is simple when you say it, but you need to be good with your risk management. Don't have emotions. Be very robotic on your trading setups, and always look to risk that small percentage, right? Regardless if it's 2-3%, try and keep it at 3% max. Okay. If you're cheeky, do 5%. If you're a cheeky guy, then do 5. But if you start trading with 10-20% of your capital as your stop loss, you literally have a few bullets, right? You have 4 or 5 stop losses if you are risking 20%. And if you're a bad trader and a bad planning trader, you could get stopped out 4 or 5 times. I can't remember the last time that I got stopped out, 3 times in a row. 5 times in a row, I would say it's impossible at the moment, just because I'm very, defensive and looking at realistic projections. 5 stop losses in a row is like an impossible thing. I wouldn't say impossible, but it would be extremely, extremely unlikely. So to happen to me anyway. 2 stop losses in a row is very realistic. That does happen. Still happens to me nowadays. 2 stop losses in a row. 3 stop losses in a row would be very, very rare. Very, very rare to get 3 stop losses in a row. But, the people that are risking 20% or 25% of their account and they're not making correct plans, you're going to burn your account with 3-4 stop losses, right? Or liquidations. So make sure to adjust your risk tolerance, and it's a long-term game, right? It's a long-term game. You're realistically looking at making 5 to 20% max a month. People that double accounts in a month, stay away from that, because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You're realistically looking at a 5 to 10% profit in the month when you're trading. Okay, it's not over 30-40% is really unsustainable long term. So you just need to have very, very good risk management, very good trading plans. You get the deal, right? You don't get rich overnight in this game, unfortunately. You build up capital consistently. Let's go through the comment section, say hello, and see what's going on here, right? Have you checked out CBN Crypto by 𝗞𝗐? He'll be posting a video later on. Man, start the live stream and Bitcoin is just trading in the middle. We will get one of those levels hit, guys, at some point. Let's go through comment section. That like button absolutely exploded. Not really, man. I'm gonna go and take a hike and see if when I come back, see if we do get 300 likes, and then we'll go through comment section legends, okay, and see what's going on. No financial advice, much love. I need to give a shout out to my moderators here. Pac-Man, no financial advice. They are here giving love and power. Sin Games, I can see you there. Sin Games, much love to you, my brother. I shorted at 111,782. Absolutely epic. Stop is set at 107k. Absolutely wonderful. Now so well in profit, even if stopped out. Epic, my man. Very good. I'm going to come back to see if the like button has improved, guys. I'm going to take a quick hike and then I'll come back, okay? That like button did get to above 300, so that's good, guys. People rather fuck off from the stream than hitting the like button. That's incredible. Yeah, there's it seems like I need to be more of a clown and more of a showman on the streams if I want to get more likes, right? I know there's more showmans out there that get more likes. I don't know. If you want to keep it professional, it just really is very low. The engagement, the people enjoying the stream. If you want to try and keep it professional and give realistic scenarios, it seems like, I don't know. It doesn't get... We live in a very interesting era, guys. Very, very interesting era right now, right? Where, we have some interesting characters in the world, right? Not everybody is very smart. So people rather watch the hype and some different clowns out there which get more love, more likes, they more of a show. But if you want a little bit more professional analysis, I want to say, I want to try and say that, you know, we talk about realistic scenarios and projections purely based on technical analysis, right? Where we can really map the situation that could happen, and you know, it's satisfying, right? I really enjoy the technical analysis because then you come up with the different projections that can be you know, that can be mapped. You can map the different scenarios here, which you know, are very, very interesting based on the levels and scenarios. Sin Games is saying that he did short at 111k, which is absolutely crazy. You literally got in on the, well, you may be shorted at this zone, actually. Maybe you shorted here, right? Well, that's an epic short. You literally shorted the high. So, yeah. Sometimes, no matter how good your analysis is, I don't get in every single trade, even though I believe that this movement could reject. I didn't get into this short, even though it was a scenario, guys, you know. So we don't always trade the scenarios and projections that we talk about. This happened on the live stream. I didn't like it. We had high volume, we did SFP, yes, and I said, you know what, because there's trading opportunities every single day, I would rather analyze the potential bounce to get into the short. And I did say to the community, you know, guys, I didn't short this, but I will short, you know, if we do get that opportunity, that potential bounce on your wave 2, right? Potential wave 2, or regardless if it's going to be a 3-wave structure. You know, I'm interested in the 3rd wave. I'm interested in this wave because I know that the price can move in 3 waves or in 5 waves, right? So if you know that the price moves in 3 waves or in 5 waves, you want to be in this wave, right? You want to be in the 3rd wave. So 3rd wave has been catched successfully, and this was actually a very, very good level. Was actually a very, very good level. Point of control, previous day point of control, nice little order block if you wish, right? It is a big order block right there. It was an interesting level. Anyway, let's go through the comment section, see what's going on here. Thanks guys for smashing up the like button. Really appreciate that. You guys are legends. I hope that you all have a great, fantastic weekend, okay? Don't drink too much. All of those people that do drink. Stay healthy. Drink a little bit. Have a good time. Be healthy. Read. Have good sleep. Eat well. Eat your protein, your veg. If you're not feeling good, make sure to speak to someone. Speak to your old friends. You got the deal, guys. Stay strong in this crypto market, in this trading industry, right? Which is not for everybody. When I do this kind of content, I really fear the people that cannot manage their emotions. You know, they have a gambling kind of addiction inside of them. And it's really, really dangerous, guys, for sure. Okay, for sure it is dangerous. You know, people say you're getting wrecked, you got liquidated. Ha ha ha. It's not funny, right? A lot of people cannot manage the situation. They can get into very bad trades and they can lose a lot of money if they do not plan their trades, right? When we talk about these plans, guys, we talk about, we have stop losses, right? Getting a stop loss is your friend, right? Regardless if this trade setup plays out that we mentioned or the short position, we know exactly how to execute this trade. Regardless if it's the short or the long, right? In the case of the short, it's, you know, that weekly open, stop loss above the high of the wick. We need that rejection. That rejection is going to be our friend. The rejection is going to be our friend, right? So it is a plan. Right, you have a plan to get into a trade. If you don't follow the plans based on your strategy, this would be, I'm sharing my strategy here, literally, okay? So you have your strategy, but your strategy needs to have good risk management. You need to risk that small percentage of your capital. And my goodness, I've seen trades that are, I've got DMs of people being at 100K loss, right? And saying, should I wait for a reversal and stuff like that? And I'm like, wow. I'm like, holy crap, what's going on here? So I'm fearful for those people that take the, take everything very, very aggressive, and can't manage their risk, because you can get depressed on in this game, guys. You can get very depressed in this game, especially if you're in a losing spree, right? So I just want to say to the people that do follow the channel to plan your trades, be very, very careful. Don't get emotional. Tomorrow's another day. If you didn't catch a trade today, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow, there's another day, there's another level, there's another range, and there's another trading opportunity. Especially on the channel here, which we talk about day trading scenarios, right? We try and look for intraday setups. I know it's nice to get into those swings, and I was very, very vocal about the, this is a swing shorting zone, right? When we are at all-time high, we have a daily engulfing candle. The first massive daily engulfing candle that we've ever had in this uptrend from the last, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. The first major engulfing candle was here. So overall, this analysis made sense because the engulfing candle was printed on Friday. This is the Friday dump. It closed a massive daily engulfing candle, and a daily engulfing candle, right, close is short-term bearish, right? I wouldn't say it's bearish. This is the bear market right now. No, it's just a short-term bearish sign where you can correct a little bit lower. Daily bearish engulfing candle, which has been the first one from all of these ranges, right? There's no bearish daily engulfing candle. This is very corrective structure. Okay, no bearish engulfing candle in this zone. This is the first one, big major one on the daily, which gives you the possibility of the price correcting a little bit lower, right? And this is why we go through the lower time frames, where we understand that, yeah, maybe this movement over here is possible on the lower time frames, and that's where we come to the conclusion on this scenario, right? Maybe we form a zigzag here. We've got the daily engulfing candle, so just to take into consideration. And the weekly level doesn't look that great, right? When you go to the weekly time frame, and I'm not bearish, guys. It's just okay, it's just looking for the price to get a little bit of momentum to the downside, right? We're analyzing the scenarios to say, maybe it is going to be a shallow correction. Maybe it's going to go lower. This is why we talk about the intraday setups locally. But a weekly candle close from all-time high after a few months, it doesn't give you that much confidence, right? At least in the short term. At least in the short term, anyway. Let's go through the comment section. And if you don't have a plan, your plan is to lose. That is totally correct. Love this, Pac-Man, my man. Much love to you, brother. Okay. Enjoy the weekend, guys. We got 𝗞𝗔, the absolute legend here. 98K subs. Okay. We're only 2K away, less than 2K now. Let's see if we do get to 100K subs very soon, guys. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content. We try and keep it as realistic as possible. No hype, no massive bearishness. Oh my goodness. All right. I do play a little bit with the titles and thumbnails, guys, but it's the only way to get a bit of attraction here, to get more people aware of, trading education, right? I want to try and say real trading education. TikTok clown, says Doig. 𝗞𝗔, much love to you. Have a great weekend. Pac-Man as well. 𝗬cie 𝗂𝗍. Sing games as well. No financial advice. Shout out to the moderators, always giving love and power here. I could not be, could not appreciate this as much, because usually I don't give too much love to my moderators, I have to say, and I need to give a big shout out to them because they're giving a lot of love and power. 𝗬𝗍𝘆, my man, absolute legend in the Discord as well, providing the most smashing setups ever. Okay, shout out to 𝗬𝗍𝘆, because thanks to 𝗬𝗍𝘆 as well, I did see his short position from here yesterday, which was overall aligned with the analysis. Big point of control at this level. Very good level, 𝗬𝗍𝘆. Shout out to you. Just smash the like. Absolute legend. Let me know when you're going live. We're getting that like button going absolutely bananas. We got 3 likes here. Anyway, much respect. Crypto Big Brains, didn't see you there. Much love to you, my man. Another moderator here. Giving love. Let's go. Appreciate you, Andy. Thank you very much. Wes, thank you very much for joining and hopefully learning a lot here. Okay. Depression hits everyone. Life has highs and lows. Crypto gardenist. Absolutely. Even myself. I have my ups and lows. It hits everybody. Okay. So make sure to be in contact with family and friends. Enjoy time. You know, keep away from the charts for 24 hours at least, even though I know it's difficult, especially for me. You know, I'll go to sleep and I'll be dreaming on the charts, right? Try and stay away for, you know, some time off your phone. Doom scrolling. Get away from doom scrolling, guys. I have a bad addiction on doom scrolling. Looking at a lot of crap content. That is very, very bad for sure. That is very, very bad. You know, especially when you're going before going to sleep, right? Where you just like that and scrolling, looking at a lot of nonsense. It's very, very bad. It disturbs your sleeping hours, right? Devil, much love to you. You're a machine, my man. You told us there is a gift today. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, make sure to join the Telegram group. Okay, make sure to join the Telegram group. The Telegram channel is down below, guys. Make sure to join the Telegram, okay? The community Telegram, because we'll be announcing some very good stuff very, very soon, okay? There is that surprise. I was going to keep it for today, for Monday, but you can start joining the Telegram group. That will be announced in the Telegram, okay? So make sure to join for all of those people that want to know about the surprise. The surprise will be mentioned in the Telegram, also throughout the streams in the next coming days and weeks, okay? So you want to join the Telegram. Addicted to the chart, says Dan Hybrid. Absolutely. Absolutely. Me too. Got to go. Peace. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Andy, when we're having a mod party in Dubai, we need to sort this out. I owe this to Mark Dutch. I owe this to Pac-Man as well. They've been the OGs of moderators since the beginning of the channel in 2020. And I owe these guys so much, and I owe the moderators as well. So, you know, all of them anyway. All of you guys. Legends, I'm going to wrap it up. It is Friday. Make sure to enjoy the weekend. Spend time with family and friends. And I will try and go through the comment section more often. Be a bit more in contact. I will be more in contact with the people that join the Telegram. And have a more personal, okay, contact with people. Andy, you're very appreciated by me. Alan, much love to you, my man. First thing I always do is to give you a like. Thank you, brother. Much love to you. Thank you, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. People are leaving. I'm just extending this too much. Too much talk. The analysis has been provided. Bitcoin is really in the range. Friday evening, just really in this kind of a little bit of a triangle formation here. Stay cautious. It does look like that those lows want to be claimed, okay? So anybody that is thinking about longing right now, just be aware that there is a high chance in this low being claimed, regardless if it's taking out the highs or not. Okay, just be aware of that situation here locally. It does look like that those lows, we are downtrending locally, so it's just something that you want to be aware of. Thank you, legends. Remember, you get those great perks and bonuses on the exchanges with the first and second link down below. Much love to the moderators. It is Friday. Have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next one.